You know that daily coffee you grab? What if I told you that simple habit holds the key to your entire financial future? Today, we're going to break down how one tiny choice can reveal who you are with money and put you on a path to either freedom or, well, just staying stuck. Okay, so how does that even work? Let's dive into it with a really simple story. We've got three people, a daily coffee habit, and one single decision that completely changes the game for all of them.
Right, so here's the setup. It's a tale of three coffees. They all start from the exact same place with the same budget for the same simple thing.
So let's imagine three people, right? They've each got a pretty normal income, and they all have a budget of 360 Saudi riyals, which is about $100, set aside just for their monthly coffee. I mean, it doesn't sound like a life-changing amount of money, but trust me, as you're about to see, it is more than enough to change absolutely everything.
First, let's meet the consumer. This is probably someone we all know. Every single morning on the way to work, he pops into his favorite coffee shop, grabs a 12 rial cup. By the end of the month, yep, he's had 30 great coffees, and his entire 360 rial budget is gone. Simple as that.
Okay, next up is the saver. Now, she loves her daily coffee just as much, but she has this little light bulb moment. She realizes, hey, wait a minute, making this at home is way cheaper. And that one simple switch means she gets to have her coffee and hang on to a big chunk of her cash. And then there's the thinker. He looks at the exact same situation, but his brain is just wired differently. He's not just thinking about saving money on coffee. No, he's thinking, how can I use this coffee budget to actually make more money? It's a total game changer. All right, so where does this all lead? After just 1 month, these three different mindsets lead to wildly different places financially. The results? Honestly, they're pretty shocking. And here's exactly where their paths split. So the consumer? He spent the full 360 rials for his 30 cups. But the saver? By grabbing a couple of bags of beans and brewing at home, she only spends 120 for the exact same amount of coffee. That leaves her with a cool 240 rials in her pocket. So when we tally it all up, the consumer is back at zero. The saver is sitting on 240 rials, money she can now put to work for her. But check out the thinker. He's not only had his coffee for free, but he's turned his original 360 rials into 480. He didn't just save it, he actually grew it. So the big question is, how on earth did he pull that off? It's not some kind of financial wizardry. It really just comes down to understanding one super simple economic idea that, frankly, runs the whole world. Yeah, this whole coffee story is actually a perfect little example of a huge economic principle. The famous investor Ray Dalio talks about this all the time. He says that every economy, no matter how big or complicated, is just built on one thing, a simple transaction. And a transaction is just what it sounds like, right? You're exchanging money for a good or a service. The thing is, most of us spend our lives on the buying side of that exchange. The secret, the thing the thinker figured out, is to find a way to get on the selling side. So here's his playbook, and it's so simple you could repeat it tomorrow. Step 1, he used part of his budget to buy the raw material, in this case, 4 bags of coffee beans. Step 2, he transformed it, turning half of those beans into a finished product, freshly brewed coffee. And step 3, he sold that coffee to his coworkers, turning his cost into profit, and, get this, basically getting his own coffee for free. Now this is the cool part. This isn't just some cute story. Let's talk about how you, yes you, could apply this exact same idea, starting really, really small, like with your next paycheck small. You know, I think the biggest hurdle for most people is that they hear the word business, and they immediately picture a huge storefront, employees, a massive bank loan. Forget all that. The real magic is in starting tiny. Just think about solving one simple problem for people you already know. And here is the absolute golden rule. Find the demand first. Don't go out and buy a bunch of stuff and then try to find people to sell it to. That's backwards. Instead, find a small group of people, your friends, your family, your coworkers, figure out something they already want or need, and then you go find it for them. You're just connecting the dots. So what kind of need are we talking about? Well, the source material has some great, simple ideas. Maybe you know a farm that has amazing dates and you can bring them to your neighbors. Or maybe you can get a deal on high-quality figs at a wholesale market for your family. It could even be something as simple as noticing all your colleagues have flimsy phone stands and finding a better, cheaper one for them. Okay, so to bring this all home, let's actually visualize the money.
Let's look at the cash flow blueprint for each of our three personalities. When you see it laid out like this, the difference is just crystal clear.
For the consumer, it's basically a one-way street. Money comes in from a paycheck, and it flows right back out to cover expenses. And at the end of the month, poof, there's nothing left in the account. Now the saver's smarter. They build a second lane on that road, money comes in, most of it still goes to expenses, sure, but a little bit gets diverted into investments. And eventually, that new lane starts sending a little bit of money back to them as returns.
But the thinker doesn't just build another lane, they build a whole financial network. You've got money coming in from the salary, money coming back from investments, and money coming in from the profits of their little business. They've created multiple streams of income, all from that one starting point.
And that really gets to the heart of it all. This was never about how much money you start with. Remember, all three of them had the exact same 360 reals. The difference wasn't the cash, it was the mindset. It was how they chose to think about the money they already had. So what this all shows us is that real, lasting financial change doesn't start with winning the lottery or getting some huge investment. It starts with one small, simple transaction. It starts by solving one tiny need for someone else. So the only question left to ask is, what's one simple need around you that you could fill next month?